Hi, this set of critiques is for Brianna, Seth, and Bronwyn.
Hi, Brianna. I think you are off to a fine start here. The one that instantly seems the best solution for me for this project is the five gum one, and that's because it's looks to be a straight ahead shipper type display, and it will give you the opportunity to really tie in the display with the packaging, which is really strong for 5 gum. Even just the simple black sides would work for it because it is such a minimal packaging. The one thing that I would suggest here is that you have maybe the sides of your display tray at a slight angle to give it a little bit of interest, or maybe having the front panel have a dip or a cutout in it. If it's just a black rectangle and the product comes up exactly to the same height as the sides, it's not nearly as interesting than if some of the packaging is exposed. The Hollister one, fine enough, but it still quite seems like a box. It has the feel, the look, the dimensions of a box. It doesn't seem to transform itself, where the 5-gum one, just because of that backboard, makes it seem like something special. The M&M's one is okay, but I'm not exactly sure how it operates. So we have a tall cylinder that holds other cylinders, which is fine, but it looks like that there would be a lot of dead space unless you stacked more product one on top of each other, but that would make it then hard to remove the product. So although it has interesting bits to it, I'm not sure that the M&M display is the best solution here. The only suggestion I have beyond the displays themselves is for the presentation, and I think a little more time taken getting your text straight, actually ruling it, making sure that it's justified in a straight line to the left or to the right, would make it look neater. Using a straight edge for drawing some of your straight lines too would help tighten up your presentation, and some adding color onto your drawings would also help give them the additional visual interest. Okay? Nice drawings here, Seth. You have 3 very different solutions, 3 very different approaches. Out of the 3, I think my favorite is the Wrigley's. I'm not quite sure how it works, if that's a drawer, if it's a tray. It would probably be preferable if it was a tray, because if you had to slide it back and forth, that would probably put some people off. I like the way that you've used the big panels of the display for graphics. They seem simple, straightforward. You have fresh mint, very big, which is important. It will attract attention, particularly if it has a very elegant simplicity about it. I think the bottom one with the shelves, and I'm not exactly sure what the product is. I think that it's not a bad idea, but once you have shelves, it means products getting knocked over, messed around, slid about, falling off of the shelves, problems getting the product out of the bottom shelf all the way in one of the back corners. All those kinds of things become problematic with an application like that. So I would suggest that you stay away from that one. The Cadbury one is interesting to me. I think that you've given it some thought, and the form itself is pretty interesting. I'm just not sure how the product fits in with your display here. So you have a nice kind of circular spherical form here, but I'm not not convinced. I don't even know how the product goes in, where it goes, those kinds of things. So if you do want to go forward with this one, and I think that circular forms and spherical forms can be quite hard, but if you do want to go forward with, I'd like to hear your thoughts about how the product does work with it. The only other suggestion I have here is that you put each of your proposals on its own page and compose for that individual proposal and page. Otherwise, I think you've done a really fine job here. Hi, Bronwyn. You have two workable ideas here. Both of them seem to be shippers, fairly straightforward. Both of them, though, seem like they will be quite large. And you might scale them back a little bit. So with the Duracell one, instead of being four wide and what do you got, 6 deep, you might think about making it 2 wide and 3 deep, or 3 square, or something like that. But it does look fairly intimidating at that size. Remember, they are to go on a store counter, and if you take a look at the kind of craziness that goes on something like the Walgreens counter, that it doesn't have to be huge to be placed there, and it's probably better off that it's not. Otherwise, it's going to get interfere with all the other stuff that's going on there. But I do think it's a fairly straightforward solution. Think about the hierarchy in your graphic design here. You've got it somewhat roughed out, but make it really appealing. I would take huge cues from the packaging of the Duracell packages and the batteries themselves. On the next one, here's one that I didn't see before. The Sharpie one looks like a cardboard easel display. Those aren't that great of solutions. They tend to get knocked down, knocked over, particularly with people struggling to get the product out of them. The second thing that doesn't work particularly well with this one is the amount of product on the display. So as you have it rendered now, there's only a line of pens at the bottoms and quite a lot of negative space at the top. So for me, it isn't my favorite of what you have on offer here. I think that easel displays have really strong drawbacks. The other, if I can find it here, is the Purell hand lotion, and I think this is good too. It's very similar to the Duracell one. What I like that you've done here is have a bit of that drop break through the form of the rectangle, and I think that that's very eye-catching. It makes displays much more interesting when those kinds of things do happen. Here too, I would suggest that you take really think hard about the size of it, and it looks like you could basically cut this display in half and still have quite a lot of product on display. So those are my thoughts on your solutions here. Good work.